Okay, so I'm going to be using the Parkside plasma cutter today just to cut up some metal cases, just so it's easier to store the flat sheet. I've got quite a lot of old electronics boxes for various items that I don't need anymore, so I've salvaged the metal. It'll come in handy for various model engineering tasks. I have been using, can you see that? I have been using this. I tried to cut up some quite thick steel and it didn't work, and I was sort of trying to push the plasma flame into the work quite a lot, so unfortunately that's what that's done is not do a good job on the tip. So I'm just going to change the tip. While I was at Lidl, I did buy a pack of consumables. So you have the electrode, nozzles, and also a few spare shrouds. It does only come with one of these, which is the thing that offsets a bit. I've heard that this is set too high, but as I'm only doing thin metal, I'm going to try this again. So we'll pop that back on. So I'll just bring you in a bit closer to the actual torch. There we go. And we'll see if we can take this off. I did just quickly try this today. So you can see the electrode's a little bit worn, but it's not too bad. This is the main problem. So we'll pop that out. I mean, I can probably clean that up, but I don't want to faff around today, so we're just going to pop a new one of those in. That's still usable. We'll pop that in, and I'm going to push this back on again. So we'll give that a go and give it its best chance, I think. So I've got the ground connections connected to the steel table, which is probably good enough. I'm going to put my PPE on. So I've got a little welding helmet. I've got some nice thick gloves. Right, so we'll give it a go. Hopefully you can see that's it's very nearly cut all the way through. I think it's done a better job than the previous attempt at a high power. It's got one small part there, and I need to cut through the ends. But as you can see, this is quite an awkward shape to store. Can you see the? There you go. You can see the cut there. It's this lower one here. So obviously a bit wavy because I'm not using a straight edge. But this is really just a rough cut with these boxes out. So I'll have another go. So I think you can see that's cut quite well. There's not too much slag. I think I should cut this edge off next, and then that's ready to be used for whatever. I think my main issue that I'm doing is I'm going a little bit too fast and not giving it the air blast time to actually push the metal out the way, so it's actually rejoining like here. So I'll try and go a bit slower, and we'll see how we get on. And there we go. So that's not too bad. I mean, this can just go in the scratch. I mean, the main thing with these is I can now get this into my bench shears quite easily, so I can cut these extra bits out as and when I need to use it. So that's good. And what I'll do is I'll do a bit more footage of I'll do a few more boxes just so you can get the idea. I might try slightly lower power. So on this one I'm going to try 18 amps now, which is quite a lot lower than the previous attempt. That's not powerful enough. I should go up a little bit to 24 this time, see how that goes. Yes, that seems better. So that's worked much better, and the thing that I found actually helped the most was I've got the newer Parkside True Colour helmet. Needs some stickers actually, but never mind. It's actually got a cutting section which gives you the lower range of shades. So that I've got that right down to minimum, so that's 5 instead of 9. Previously I was on the welding which is that position. I've now moved it to cut, so that gives you 5 instead of 9. It's perhaps slightly too light, but I could really see what I was doing. That's really helped, and as you can see, the slightly higher current has really zapped through that really nicely. I've actually got quite a neat cut there. Actually, I'm really pleased with that. That's the best I've done so far. You can see this second section, which has only got a single pass on it. It's very clean. Absolute bare minimum of slag as well, so that's spot on, that is. I think I'll leave that piece, so I'll just carry on and do a few more. I think I quite like that speed. Okay, so after doing a few boxes, the nozzle started to get a bit clagged up. So apparently the answer to that is to just file the tip down a little bit. There's 4 slots in a cruciform, and I think you need those clear before it'll work. So I'm going to clean it off with a file and then try and redo the slots as well. So we'll just give that a quick go. So there you go, it's nice and clean again. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, but it did just blow or trip the RCD when that happened. So I don't know if you get a sudden current surge or something, maybe a bit of slags shorted it out or something. So I've reset the trip. I have had that happen occasionally. But it's usually when the nozzle's got a bit blocked up, so we'll try again now and see how we get on. So that's gone a bit okay. The second cut was fine, and this has now got very loose. I think I've overheated it at some point, so that's pretty much pointless now. So I'm sort of getting my hand in now. It's not too bad. It does seem to be clagging up the nozzle quite quickly though. But never mind. We'll carry on and see how we get on. So I'm using a slightly different technique now. What I'm doing is angling the torch very slightly, a bit like when you're using a TIG torch, so I can actually see the plasma flame or jet, and actually see it's cutting. And I found if I just support my one hand on top of the other, just like using TIG, you can get quite a nice straight line. So I think that's what I'll try and demonstrate that now, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so in conclusion then, this does work really well. It's way faster than using a cutting disc on an angle grinder. It does reward you if you can keep a fairly constant speed and height and so on, so it's a bit like TIG welding really just practice. I think when the nozzle does get a bit clogged up, you do tend to end up tripping the breaker. I'm not sure if that's just because I've got the air compressors on the same breaker, so we've obviously got quite a lot of current draw through that breaker. I think it's only a 16 amp one, so that might be part of the problem. But apart from that, just the very odd hiccup I would say that this is quite annoying. You know, there is a safety lock here which stops you pressing the button, but then there's also this thing as well, which with gloved hands it's a little bit annoying, but you know, safety, so it's quite good. Obviously, this hasn't lasted very well, but I say it, if you do sort of set up so you can see the plasma jet through as you're going along, you don't really need that. You can actually gauge the height fairly well. And I was basically just sliding it along the tabletop, so that's definitely a nice technique. But all in all, for the money, it's pretty good. Apparently these 30 amp max you can actually tweak them inside to go up to 40, but then that's way too much for a 13 amp socket, so you'd need to move to a 16 amp commando style blue socket. So as with all workshops, it's an ongoing project and you don't want to be sidetracked too much from the actual things you want to do. So I hope you found that useful. I say if you've got a use for quickly cutting metal, I think plasma is definitely worth investigating. I already had a big compressor, so it was a no-brainer to get this particular model, which is the one that hasn't got a compressor in it. It also makes the unit quite compact, and you know, like most workshops, I'm always struggling for space. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you liked that, please leave a comment. If there's anything else you'd like me to review. This isn't a paid for review at all. I bought this for my own money, just as a aside. Yeah, hopefully that's interesting to some of you. I say for cutting up fairly thin sheet, it's like a knife through butter, and hopefully I can reuse some of this sheet now. It's obviously doesn't take up much space, so I can use it for other projects. So it's obviously it's quite thin stuff, but I say it's much quicker than using an angle grinder, and a little bit quieter, and obviously flames and sparks, so that's always good. Anyway, hope you found that useful. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. So this is how you empty the water trap.